Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we are going to play around with some scraps and I've got a bunch of things over here on my desk. I think you see parts of them. This is some of that Flora paper. Well, some of it's Flora. Let's see. It's P-E-P-I-N, Pepin paper. I get off of Amazon. I will link it below the video. I love this. It's very pretty. They're huge sheets. That's like 4 sheets folded together, but it's a big piece when you get it off. They also now have the William Morris print, so I'm going to have to go back and get another one. But what we're going to do is make some of those little scrap notebooks or journals that I send along with my journals that people purchase. I am down to 1, and when I ship this journal out that I'm going to be shipping this next week, I'll be down to 0. So I need more. So we're going to make some of those. And I'm just going to try to tear this out. And I'll show you how big these pages are. This is some wonderful... I think it's actually meant to be like a wrapping paper, but of course I don't use it as that. Now there's only one sheet every now and then that's shiny. Most of them are matte. So let me show you how big this is. This is huge. And I won't be able to get it all on camera, but you'll be able to get the gist of it. So it's 4 times this size, 4 times. I think they are. Let's see if it says on it. I'm sure it does somewhere. They are 19.5 by 27.5. So that's how big they are. And I'm going to use some of these for like the little front cover. That one will be a good piece. Then I'm just going to tear a piece off of this. And they usually tear pretty good right down the seam, so I don't have to try to get them in a trimmer or cut them. But we shall see. There we go. So then all of this can go back in the book. So that'll be enough for a couple, and then I want one piece of this. So what are you guys doing today on this beautiful hot Saturday? We were supposed to get rain last night. I don't think it rained a drop. Can't tell that it did. Oh, come on, there we go. And you have to excuse my band-aid going on here. I may have my finger stuck up like this. I almost cut the tip of my finger off last night. I got a little overzealous with my scissors, and they will cut you. I put a pretty good dent in my finger and my fingernail. I don't think I can talk this morning. I keep going, and I know I'm not supposed to do that. But anyway, it will heal. It's just right now it's a little bit aggravating because it's sore as the devil. I'll cut that because I can't tear it, seems like. I'm just going to tear a few of these off and then we'll get going. Now I may shuffle papers a lot because I haven't prepared for this. But because it's pretty early on Saturday morning. But if you don't want to hear papers shuffling, then you can just scroll right on through. Because sometimes I just get something on my mind and I don't prepare. So I have it in my mind, but I don't have it all prepared, ready to go. Okay, that's what we're going to use for the fronts. Now, we are going to grab just some scrap papers. Now, these are just scrap papers that I have from here and there and everywhere. And I'm going to put them on out here first, and then we'll start cutting them down or doing whatever we need to. This is from one of those old school books from the kids had when they were in like the 1st grade. It's just random pieces. And then we'll put a little bit of book page in there. I think, no, we can't put that one in there. That one is too fragile. This is some paper that came in one of the packages of Happy Mail that I got from one of you guys. And of course, I didn't throw it away. So we're going to use it. And I think I'll just tear it about like that. And I just tear them. I don't cut them. I don't measure. I just tear pieces. And I let it go with that. And I'll even put that in there with the little jagged edge. You can also use your digitals. If you have some digitals you want to include, or, you know, scrap paper, whatever you have laying around on your desk that you want to include in something like this, you can. Let me find some book page that might be not quite so brittle. I know I have plenty over here. It's not like I'm shy. Let's see. That one will probably work. And even these little pieces that a lot of you guys have purchased from me, these little railroad receipts that I have in my digital, those would be good to include in there. So we'll tear those. And I did print on the back of that one, but that's no problem. Because the person that gets these, they can either take them apart and use piece by piece, or they can leave them together and just use them as a little scrap notebook. So it's just something fun to make and something fun to have, I think. Okay. Now, there'll also be lots of tearing going on, so if that bothers you, then you might scroll. Because I will, a lot of this, well, most all of this I'm just going to tear. I'm not going to cut. Tearing, I think, is a lot better on something like this. So see, even these little odd pieces, and I know her head's missing, but that's okay. That's why I'm going to use it as a scrap. Just tear them down. Now, if you didn't want them torn down, you could use your little decal edge punches, something like that, and make some different things. I am probably not going to go to that extreme, but who knows? Who knows what I'll do in the very end. Alright, we'll use that. We'll use a piece of this. So if you don't want to see me tearing everything and getting it ready, you can just scroll on past and go to where I start putting things together. If you do like seeing something like this, then just hang on and just watch. I know sometimes I cut this kind of thing out and I have people say, oh, I wish you would have left that in, because I like to see how you tear everything, how you put everything together. Well, the only way I know to do it is just leave it in, and if you don't want to watch it, you can just scroll on past. So this is just a little odd page that I'm going to put in there. And it's white on the back, but that's okay. If they can either write on that part, or they can cover it, or do whatever they want with it. Yeah, I noticed yesterday that I was down to one of these, and it goes with the journal that's about to go out next week, so I thought I might need to get a few more made. Let's see. I don't want it quite that big, so we're going to tear off some of this. And I know I probably don't tear it straight, but there again, that doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me at all. Ooh, I like that. Let's put that side in there. I'm starting to fold already because I'm getting too anxious. See, that's what happens to me. I love making these, and I love putting them together and seeing what they turn out to look like. So, and I'm not going to use that tiny scrap, but I just tore it to a square. It makes it a little bit easier to put in your stash when you just kind of, you know, I don't leave it like that. I'll just tear this off, and then I can put that in my scraps. Oh, this is a pretty page. How do we want to put that in there? Let's put it like this. I think we'll get part of that. Now you can tear with the decal edge if you want. I'm tearing with this just because I want to get it done. And tearing with the decal edge is great, but you have to have a flat surface. You can't really tear it like I'm tearing it with paper stacked underneath it. I think that'll be okay. This we're going to need to tear down. That'd be way too big. That one will be good. That one will be good. That one's probably going to be a little bit too big. Let's see. Let's tear it off this way. I don't want them so big that I can't fit them in a little bag or paper bag or whatever I include with. All right. Now you say, well, you tore those so big, and look at your little cover. It's teeny tiny. Well, that's what I meant to do. This is going to be my little cover, and I want it smaller than everything else. So then we're going to start just adding some papers. So we'll kind of start, let's see, that's the same size, so we don't want to use that one. You want to come in with different size, different heights, different widths paper. And if you've not done this before, sometimes it's better to tear them one by one and put them in that way. I'm going to fold all of these, and then we're going to start putting in, because, you know, you might want to tear some a little bit larger than others, so I just kind of guess at it, and sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, and I just put it back for another one. And I don't worry about which way I'm folding. If I'm folding the right way, the wrong way, I just fold. You see, that one's cut terribly crooked, but that's okay. It's going to go anyway. It's a good way to use up extra scraps. And then a good way to make some little journals, little tiny journals. Well, they're not tiny, but little journals. Yeah, I think that book page is good. So we'll get them all folded, and then we'll start kind of layering them in. Okay. Now, let's start out with, we've got one that's a little bit bigger. It's the same width, so I'd like to have one in between it that sticks out further. And you know me, tearing these, I may not have left one that sticks out further. I'm so used to tearing them for journals that, oh yeah, this one's going to. Because for journals, you need them torn the same. So there we go. We got that one. See, I got a stair step here. So then we're going to put something in here, and we can just add a little small one in there if we need to. And then let's go with, and you can also stagger them. So, you know, I want this to be a little taller, so I'm going to put it up that way. Well, my fingers are not working today. And then, let's see, I can put this one down this way, and it sticks out a little further. You see kind of what we're getting at? Now I want something to come right in here, so let's go ahead and grab something else to stagger in there. What about that one? Nope, that's not going to come out far enough. What about the book page? I think that will work. So see, oops, sorry, I'm out of camera. I'm propping my arm up and I don't need to be doing that. And then we can put a small one in here. And then we can come back with that. I like that on top, just sticking out there. Then I need to bring one down to the bottom somewhere. Let's do this one way down here. And you can see there's no rhyme and reason, kinda. I just kinda sorta do it like I want to. Alright, let's go with this one since it's gonna stick out. Put that in the middle. Go back up here with one. Then we'll do down here. And then I adjust after I get everything in there. I kind of adjust like I want them to be. So that. And let's put this one in there. I put one in the, when I put one up here and one down here, I put one in the middle to kind of hold everything together. So that's kind of what you're seeing. And then I'm going to put that one there. And I think I'm going to come back with this one up here. And then I'm going to put that one like that. And then that one's going to be, well, I'm going to fold this one another way. Like this. And that's going to go right there. And then I think since I tore so many of these, I may come back with one of these in the center. I think that'll be pretty. Yep, like that. So that, now see, I've got this a little bit off center, so I want to adjust that. All you have to do is just hold your papers together and adjust your cover like you want. And then you could do a decal edge around your cover. You can do lots of different things, but that's a good little journal right there. Now I'm going to clip this one together, and then we're just going to kind of go and do some more, and then we'll bind them all. If you want to hang around and see that, we're going to bind them in a little bit. So let's just go with maybe this cover. And I call it a cover, and really it's just the front part. It doesn't really cover anything. Let's see. Now those little tiny pieces I don't really put in here, but I do want some that are a little bit wider this time. That one will be good. You can also offset them like this. If you want one that's a little wider, just offset it. And I mean wider this way. And then we'll put that in there. So see, when you tear one, you basically have another one torn. Usually you have papers ready for another one. So we'll go with that. Then, let's see. This will be a good wide one. Do this. And I'm not going to tear any of this off this time. On the other one I tore it off, but this one I'm going to leave it where it will stick out a little bit further. Let's put a piece of this in this one. And I think I'm going to go about right there. That should. Now you can leave that little piece on and just fold it in if you want. I'm going to just cut it off. Put it over there with my scraps. Let's see, what else do we have? Put one of these in there. And I I don't count the amount of pages I put in. I just put some in until really I get tired of folding them. It's not, there's no rhyme or reason to these. It's just whatever you got in your hand. That's a cute little piece right there. We'll kind of offset that a little bit. Alright, that looks like a pretty good stack, so we can get started. Now, I want, let's see, what do I want first? I think I might go with this. Ooh, I think I folded more than one page. Yeah. So that can be for another page. Or for another one. So I want that one first, I think. And I'm just going to come back with some butterfly paper. Some of this paper. Uh-oh, folding the wrong way. There we go. And I'm going to put that little jagged edge where it shows up there at the top. And then I'm going to put this one down at the bottom. And we'll do this one in here. Now I try not to make them too tall, because if I make them too tall they don't go in the little bags that I include with my journals, but sometimes they get, it might get a little out of hand and I do make them taller than, but I can still include them. I just put them in there. Now, that, and then we need one that kind of goes in the middle. Let's do this down here and that one up there. And then we'll put the book page in the middle to kind of hold everything together. And let's do that one up there. This one, oops, I got two pages. This one down here. They get a little hard to hold when you get to this point, but you can do it. And then that one there. And then let's go ahead and we'll fold one of these and put it in the middle. There we go. So there is another one. And I love all these little jagged pieces sticking out. I like that. And we got this little tab sticking out down here. I don't think I'm going to adjust that one. Let's see. I'll tell you what, I'm going to tear off just a tiny bit of that right there because I want a little bit of that underneath showing. Just to give it a little bit more layer. Oh, lordy. Maybe I'm just going to cut it. That paper doesn't tear very well. Which is fine. It's no problem. Don't matter if it's all jagged. Look, it's all jagged and crooked now. There we go. That'll work. It just gives it another little layer. Got that little layer there. So, that is another one. Now we can go ahead and start putting them together. Or we can make one more. What do y'all think? Let's make one more and then we'll put them all together. And I'll show you how we combine these. So like I said, I do need quite a few of these. Let's see, that is, okay, that's already folded. Already folded. There's some scrap paper. It's very pretty. That'll be good to go in there. And I'm going to leave it sticking out some, so I offset the fold so that, you know, some of the prettiness is going to stick out. I'll do this one the same way. So let's do this in there. I'm just going to do that whole thing. I know I'm making them bigger and bigger. That's what I do. I start out small and then the next thing you know I've got them huge. But that's okay. This is a very thin book page. Nope, that's going to crack, so we can't use that one. Not for this. There's some scraps. Grab another thicker book page. Alice's Adventure is the name of this one. Tear this little piece off. So when I end up with lots and lots of scraps on my desk, of, you know, just different pieces, this is what I do. I put them all together and make a little, what I call scrap journal. And then when I send out my journals, I include one of these in the journal. Okay. I'm looking to see what else I've got over here that I might include, and then we'll start binding these. Now these are good pages to include because they have one side that's, you know, you can write on, really you can write on both sides, but we're going to see if that cracks. No, it didn't, so we're good. And then let's see what else we got down here. I'll tell you what, let's put a piece of this blue paper in there. I haven't included any real colorful, so we'll put a piece of that in there. I got that little scrap I can put in there. Got that. And this, and that should be enough, I think. And I'm just going to cut this edge off because it's white. This one, we'll just do it this way. I have a piece of book, music page, did I say book page? This is music page here that we'll put in there. If it doesn't crack, does it crack? It looks pretty good, so we'll leave it. And then a piece of this. Alright, that should be plenty for another one. So let's grab a cover. I'm just going to grab this one. I like for the covers to be colorful. You can make them out of whatever you want, but I kind of like mine to be a little bit colorful. Sometimes I use scrapbook paper. If I have scrapbook paper, I will use that as my cover. But right now, I don't have any big pieces of scrapbook paper. And I don't really need any more. I tell you, I have dwindled down my scrapbook paper because I wasn't using it. So I just started, sorry about that. I keep propping my elbows up because my arms are a little bit tired today. But anyway, I don't use it that much, so why keep it around, you know? Why keep it around if you don't use it? So I sold a lot to you guys, and then I've used a lot of it for different things, different projects. And I have, you know, I have made some journals out of them and different things, so they are just about all gone. I mean, we have more on the shelf. I could get more if I wanted, but I don't need any more. Do not need it. Okay, that one's going to stick out quite a bit. That's okay. And you know, sometimes when I start stitching them together, I'll think, oh, that doesn't look exactly right. And I'll go back and I'll do something different, but not a biggie. These I probably won't. I'll just leave them in there. And see, I like putting those small ones in there, and then you come back with a big piece to kind of close all of those in. I don't think I'm going to put that one in there. I'm going to go with this little piece in the middle. Alright. And that's going to work. Now, this sticks out way too much for me, so I don't want to get rid of all of the holes because I kind of like those holes. So what I'm going to do is fold it differently. I'm going to fold it more like that. And then I will, you know what, I'm just going to fold that up. Fold that on the inside. That should work. Let's see if it works or not. Yeah, that works. Okay. So you see all of our different layers. You can see just about every layer there, except of course the tiny ones, and they're in there. And I kind of like the way the front looks there. I've got all of these different layers. Now if you wanted to bring something else down here, you could, but I think I'm going to go with that right there. So we are going to start binding these. Oh, you know what? We could put that on there. I just happened to see I had a doily laying there. Coffee dyed one. Ooh, I think I'm going to include that on there. That's pretty. You know what? We might put one on the rest of them. Let me see. Do I have any more doilies around here anywhere? Hang on just a second. Let me see if I have any more coffee dyed doilies. I didn't see any more coffee dyed doilies, but I'm sure I have some somewhere, but I'm not going to take the time to search. But I did find this very pretty fabric that someone sent me. One of you, I'm sure. And I think I'm going to use a piece of that to put on the front of one of them. Let's see. I want it a little wider than that, Edith. Trying to decide. What do I want to do? I'm going to cut it right there. I can always cut it down, but that's really pretty fabric. I don't know where. It looks like it come off a wedding dress or something. See? Look at that. And it actually, this is the outside, but it has a seam. Well, maybe that's the inside. I don't know. We're going to put the seam on the inside. Now, what's that going to look like if I put it on here? Okay, we're going to cut it down. I'll save those pieces to use on tops of tags. Okay, I'm going to offset it from that just a little bit like that. And we're going to put that on there. And then this piece of lace, I absolutely love. And I got a little piece here that I think I can use. This is another old piece that someone sent me. Oh yeah, it's got some really jagged pieces on there too. That'll be pretty. So let's put, well, when you got one finger that doesn't work good, the rest of them just kind of flop around, don't they? They don't want to work good either. Okay. I wouldn't normally even this up too much, but I wanted to. There we go. That's all I'm going to even right there. And that's going to go on the front side. Now, yeah, your lace is going to flop back and forth. That doesn't bother me. I mean, if the person doesn't want it on there when they get it, they can always just take it off. All right, let's get some. You know what? I think I'm going to bind them with this. This is some that a friend of mine sent me, and it is waxed. And since I've got a lot of green in there, let me find my needle. Ouch, I found the wrong one. Yeah, that's it. And also, these buttons that a friend of mine sent me, one of you, I am going to include some of those on the edges. like just different little buttons. These look like they're very, very old. And that's what we like. We like old buttons. I'm just pulling out a few. I'll use some. Oh, look at that. It's a tape measure button. Is that not neat? So thank you. You know who you are that sent these to me. Oh, look. It's a lighthouse button. I'll put that on one of them. Even though I'd love to keep it, but I'll just put it on one. I'll give it to one of you guys. Oh, there's some sunglasses. Oh, there's a little teddy bear. Look at that. That's covered with fabric, but it doesn't have a little hole that we can use. See what else we got. There's a heart. Well, it's an ace, really. I would love to be able to find buttons and things like this around here, these old vintage antique looking buttons. We just don't have anything like that around here. Okay. Now we are going to use our binding tool. Sorry about me flipping around in front of the camera. I know that is irritating. I'm going to put that down in there like that. Then open it up. And I'm going to clip it to my binding tool for right now. Just so that lace will stay in place. Alright. Now we're going to use our little tool here, little awl. And I think I'm going to go right there. Yep. And right there. There we go. My awl didn't seem like it was working right. That's why I was looking at it. I may have bent it. Who knows? Okay. I'm going to try to slip that off. Slip it out. And if my lace moves, that's no problem. I'll just stick it back on there. It's going to move because it's lace. It's going to slide. But it will be alright. Okay. Now you don't have to have a binding tool to do this. You can certainly do it without one. See where my hole is. It's right there. But to me, it's just a little bit easier to get all my holes punched in the right places. And I'm binding this just like I would bind a journal. Whoops. All right, let's put. There we go. And then let's see if we can go back in that center. It's the only problem you got when you're adding lace on. There we go. It's finding that hole again. Now, you know what I didn't do? I didn't put my little buttons on the outside. Okay, that's okay because I'll show you how I'm gonna do it. I will get it done. I actually should have bound it the opposite direction, but I didn't. Okay. We're going to, and I know you say, oh, that lace is kind of aggravating. Yeah, it is. It's a little bit aggravating. I may end up cutting some of it. Who knows? Let's just trim some of it off. And I'm not worried about if I'm trimming it straight or crooked. I just want a little piece on there. That's all. The person can take it off and use it in something else if they want to. There we go. That's better, I think. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to run a little piece of this string through and tie my buttons on the outside. Always a way to do it if you forget what you're doing, like I do sometimes. So all we're going to do is go right back through that center hole, come up here, and then we're going to put our little buttons on. And I'm just going to choose some. They're not going to be no rhyme or reason here again. A lot of things you notice I don't do rhyme or reason. Put the apple there. Okay, that should be enough. And then I'm going to go right back down through that. And then I'm just going to tie my buttons up here. Now I'm going to leave this one kind of loose because I want my buttons to be able to move back and forth. So we'll leave that piece loose. Now this is not the correct way to do it, but this is the way I'm having to do it because I forgot what I was doing. Okay, leave that one loose. Don't tighten it up like you did the other. And I'll see if I can do the other ones correct. Since I've got a lot of this left, I think I'm going to go ahead and try to tie a bow. Okay, so we got a bow inside. We got some scrap lace on the outside that they can take off and use, and then we've got some little floppy buttons there. I like that. Okay, let's try to do another one and try to do it like it's supposed to be done. This piece is going to be better and easier to fool with, I think, than the lace, because the lace was a little bit floppy. I just use my big clips and I clip as much of this together as I can. And then I go down in the center, and then that hole and that hole. Okay. Now again, this is not gonna, the holes in that are not gonna work very well, but we're gonna make them work. You could just do 2 holes if you want. I have done some that I just put 2 holes in. You don't have to have the 3. Alright, I'm gonna see. Yeah, it's right there. I thought I saw a hole there. I'm going from the outside first. I'm going to go all the way down and find that hole there. Okay, and then I'm going to go back up through the middle to the outside. This is the way I should have done the first one, but I didn't. But that's okay. And now we're going to put our buttons on here. And these are just some buttons that the person can use or leave on here, whatever they want to do. Whoops. Come on, fingers, you got to work. Put a little red one on here since we've got some red showing there. Okay. Then we're just going to cut this and tie them together. And you can do this a different way if you want. This is just kind of my way of doing it. I just want them all kind of stacked right there. And like I said, if the person wants, they can cut these off and use them, they can cut the whole thing apart and use it if they want to. And this is just a little embellishment pack is basically what it is. I'm going to go ahead and tie that a third time. And then we'll just cut that off. So you see, it's just a little pack of buttons on there. Just a way to include buttons in that. There's another one. Alright, let's see if we can do this one, and then that will be all three of them completed. Now on this one I might just put 2 holes and we'll see what we do. Alright, so I think I'm going to just put a hole here, not put a hole in the middle, and we'll do it a little bit different way. So this is just a third way that you can do this. I've showed you 3 different ways, so you can bind it any way that you want. You can also just bind it with twine or lace, seam binding. It doesn't matter. I just happen to have this on my desk, so that's what I use. I don't spend a lot of time searching, as you guys know. Okay, let's go in from the outside. Okay, on this one, we're only going to do 2 holes, but they're going to have to be pretty close together in the middle because we have these little pieces that we need to make sure that we catch. So we're going to go right there, and then I'm going to slide it down, and we're going to go right there. There we go. Now, hopefully, if we didn't catch the doily, that's no problem. We can always add the doily in. I mean, it has holes in it, you know. It's not the problem. So, we're going to catch it right there, I think. Or you could just glue the doily on there if you want. You don't have to put it in the binding. Make sure we got that little, and I did punch other holes in this a little while ago and they didn't work, so we're going to do it this way. Okay. Right, so there's 2 holes, and I don't know why I unthreaded my needle because we got to put our buttons on there. See, I get ahead of myself some days. Alright, we're going to put the sunglasses on. We're going to put this very old button on. I have no clue what that is. I'm going to put the little barrel on there. And we're going to put the lighthouse on there. And then I think I'll put the ace on there, and then maybe this one, and that's going to be it. See if I can get this one on. It's got a very little shank on it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. No, that one's not going to go, so we'll do this one. Okay. Alright, so our buttons are on. Now we just need to tie it. And this may be your preferred way. I mean, this is strictly up to you. I don't know why I'm trying to tie a bow. You need to tie another knot. And you need to make sure that this is pretty tight as far as the inside goes, because you don't want this falling apart on you. There we go. And I'm fiddly fingers today. There we go. Okay, so there are our buttons that way. And that might be, you know, I put my lighthouse upside down, but that's okay. It's not upside down that way, is it? There we go. That might be the way that you'd prefer to do it. It's just put 2 holes, and then you've got the buttons kind of spaced out. I've done it both ways, as you can see. And then make sure that if you do put 2 holes, make sure that you put them close enough together that you catch everything. So there is one way. There is another way with them just a little cluster of buttons. And then there is that way with just some little buttons hanging down like a charm would hang on there. So that's the different ways that you can make these little guys. And you know, there's tons of different ideas. Just make them any way that you can to use up some of your scraps. And you can send these out as Happy Mail. I send them with my journals that I sell, but you can also send them as Happy Mail. You can decorate the pages up. You can do whatever you want. But that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed. We will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.